With the recent release of Ultra Kid Buu, I thought it prompt idea to go ahead and revisit the top 10 best characters in the game. As you can see, we already have the list pulled up here, labeled 1 to 10, and we are going to go jump right in to the top 10 best characters in the game based on my opinion and my opinion in fighting them in PvP. Obviously your opinions may vary, but this is just a little disclaimer I like to throw out there, because obviously people have the characters that they dislike fighting, teams that they dislike fighting, and teams that just don't do well against. Obviously the top 10 list is becoming more difficult to put together because characters these days are releasing with different kinds of mechanics that do not fit traditionally in the top 10 aspect of how we rank characters. But without further ado, let's go ahead and rank the top 10 characters while we still can, while there are a few mechanics that are still in the game that are experimental, such as the Transcendent Kamehameha mode from the tag Super Saiyan 3 Goku and Vegeta. There are other mechanics in the game, such as Hit being able to use a time skip, Rose just utterly just getting like ultimates after ultimates, and Gogeta's Gauge being a ranged counter. So let's go ahead and rank these characters. Obviously Kid Buu has released, so we will be including him in the list, but for the top 10 characters we are going to go starting off with number 10 being the Buu duo, Super Saiyan 3 Goku and Super Saiyan 2 Vegeta. This character has a lot of issues. Smallest and largest issue being the fact that their teams are actually pretty bad. Majin Buu Saga just doesn't have a competent team right now. Maybe in future when we get more characters, more Zenkais, more specified free-to-play units that are actually decent. I mean, Pui Pui was a very good addition, but you're never going to run him, especially with Gogeta Blue on the on every single team that you're fighting. The issue with this character is Ki, and the fact that their ability to actually tank once in the Vegeta mode. If you do not have enough stars on this guy, such as 9 stars and higher, they do suffer from actually taking quite a bit of damage. Obviously the tag switch mechanic works in their favor, but I guess it's kind of like redundant because Hit is also pretty prominent, because obviously when you switch from type Blue to the Vegeta side, you're weak against Reds, which makes Hit absolutely dominate that Vegeta side. But yeah, they are a very fun unit. It's just unfortunate that the teams that they're on are not blast based, and the fact that they suffer for Ki, and honestly they just don't have any form of nullifying endurance other than the Transcendent Kamehameha, which is such a disappointment. They should have done a little bit more for this character. I mean, they could have given this guy a little bit more card draw speed, maybe just a little bit more in terms of maybe debuffing the character, or the characters in the Vegeta side mode, or even actually just straight up give this guy like endurance or something, so that even when the Vegeta dies in the Transcendent mode, like the attack still goes off but it doesn't LF or something. Something a little bit more different would have been much more interesting for me to see, but they are still a fun unit and a great unit to use in PvP if you are using the yellow blue setup, which can go pretty good with this unit. For number 9, we're gonna go with Beast Gohan. Obviously, Beast Gohan has fallen off a little bit. Not to the point where he's completely unusable, but to the point where it is more difficult to use him. Obviously, the main contributing factor to that is going to be the Ultra Rose being the green unit that just absolutely massacres every single blue unit. Actually, every single unit in the game. He just absolutely dominates the entire game. So, obviously, Beast Gohan does still do things very well. Cover change, restore vanish multiple ways. He has consistent ways of killing you very quickly if you have the right setup for him. But obviously the team that he is on is aging a little bit now, and especially on the Hybrid Saiyan setups, it is a bit more difficult to play around that based on the typings of color, I should say, because Hybrid Saiyans doesn't really have a purple. I mean, their best purple right now is the revival Super Saiyan 2 Gohan from the 3rd year anniversary, which was a pretty long time ago. It's actually almost 3 years now, or 2 years now, I should say. We are coming up on what? Is it the 5th? Yeah, it's 5th anniversary coming up soon. So definitely want to see a little bit of a additional buff to make him usable again. I mean, a lot of people actually have him. He's not terrible, but you're not really using him on a Hybrid Saiyan setup. Okay, so Let's go ahead with the number 8 spot, going to the Super Saiyan 4 LF Goku. Obviously one of the worst released LFs in the game, quite similar to Bardock being quite dead on arrival. This Super Saiyan 3 Goku and Vegeta also pretty dead on arrival, just because of how many issues they have and how more dominant other characters are in the game. This guy is actually pretty good. I actually shouldn't say they're dead on arrival. They're pretty good, just not good enough to be considered high on the list, I should say. Super Saiyan 4 Goku, very good last man standing. Obviously double cover change if you're on GT. GT is still pretty good, by the way, so do not sleep on GT. Ultimate just absolutely destroys most characters in the game. I think apart from maybe red units, that's gonna... I think that that ultimate pretty much kills everybody at if this guy is fully built up. For number 7, we are going to go with Zamasu. Zamasu is a very good unit. I'm quite surprised that a 1% sparking unit ended up being as good as this. But obviously, the problem with Zamasu is that he's also blue, so if you are using him in a Rosé match, it is very difficult to actually utilize him properly because of the ultimates and the nullify endurance. But against everything else, he's a good combo shutdown. His ability to reduce ki by 50 and the subsequent reduced ki means that he's doing a very good job at killing combos, and the fact that he can actually put up some good damage. There have been instances where I have been in a 1v1 with a type neutral character against him, and he has actually managed to defeat me because he does do a lot of damage. His counter with green card means gets nullified cover changes, and he heals every single card that he does, and he's just a good unit. It's really nice to see a Zamasu actually getting some spotlight in this game for once, apart from the red one that released like such a long time ago. For number 6, I am going to put the Super 17 or the TOP 17 in number 6 because he is just a really beastly unit. He's just so good at what he does. He's such a good supporter. You can't nullify his endurance if he's on the field and you Rising Rush. He just provides so much support for his team, and he's just a good unit to have. I mean, obviously he buffs androids and the Universe Survival Saga, but apart from that, you can run him in the leader slot and he will just make all his teams a lot better. So he is a good unit. He's just fallen away slightly, and I believe now, purely because the androids is not in a really good spot in terms of brand new units, and I mean that team is actually a low-key sleeper team. You can actually do some good damage and some good damage to these brand new characters that have released, especially the ultras with this android team. Universe Survival Saga saw a lot of play, and then they just like disappeared. I believe this guy with hit was absolutely broken combination because hit would just time stop you, and this guy would just eat everything else in terms of damage. This guy's really good. He's not as good now. I mean, blue units getting absolutely destroyed in this list, as you can tell. But yeah, number 6. For number 5, we're going with the tag Super Saiyan 4s. This may seem a little biased, but I mean, they are really good. They're still really good. I mean, they can't tank as much, but that's just the caveat to having tag switch units. The defenses on these guys have never been the greatest, but when it comes to offensive power, these guys are usually head and shoulders above most of the characters that I've released in this game. These guys being a melee unit with armor, and the fact that you can string along such a huge combo and end off with a blue card most of the time is insane. The fact that you can cover into this into the Vegeta version and switch your typing to be strong against purple characters means that Ultra Gogeta Blue does not do as much damage, and you can absolutely crush Gogeta if you get a very good combo going with them. It is unfortunate that the GT team hasn't seen any buffs recently, but I'm hoping that this anniversary it changes. It's just really unfortunate that they're basically sitting with 3 units for their team. Obviously, leader slot exists, but it's just very difficult with the Super Saiyan 4 getting the double cover changes to actually push another character into that list, unless you want to. I mean, a cover change, the instant transmission cover change isn't that broken now, given that the fact there's so many ways to just nullify cover changes. but in situations where those characters can't nullify it, or if they just don't have the ability to do so, having that extra cover change can be really OP, especially with this guys here. Okay, let's go ahead and look at our number 4. Our number 4 is going to be the brand new Ultra Kid Buu. Based on the initial impressions that I've seen from other people and the fact that I've seen this guy in PvP, it does seem like it is a bit of a overhyped release. I mean, it's very early in his release that we're actually looking at this tier list, but his kit itself is by far one of the most ridiculous kits I've ever seen. Very, very, very close to the androids, the tag androids, and how dominant they were. The only issue is that this guy's teams are just not built for him. Regen is mostly blast based at this point. I mean, obviously barring the LF Cell, the Fat Buu that got his platinum, specific platinum equipment, and then obviously the other characters that you're gonna run this guy with is Powerful Opponent. I mean, you can throw this guy in the leader slot and maybe run a toxic combo, but at that point, it's very difficult to judge how good he's gonna be, because that kind of setup obviously caters to another character being your anchor, I should say, for your team. For example, if you had to run this guy with Whis, the purple Whis, and let's say Ultra Gogeta Blue, for example, a lot of the time you are going to be using this Kid Buu, but your anchor is going to be Gogeta Blue. Purely because this guy here, I mean, I can't really say that he's going to get absolutely crushed by red units, but from what I've seen, he gets torched by red units. It's really, really difficult to judge this Kid Buu, because his teams are just not built for him. Obviously, toxic setups work really, really well with this guy. He has an astonishing kit. He should be in the top 3 if only he wasn't a defense type. If this guy was built as a melee type and had higher initial stats, he would crush a lot of the characters in this game. It is a little bit unfortunate, but he is a very large counter to Ultra Gogeta Blue, and unfortunately for Kid Buu, his typing being yellow means he's also counted by our number 3 on the list being Hit. Hit is another character that's kind of OP with his time skip. It does take a little bit of time to charge up, but if you actually manage to get the time skip, it's basically a free character kill if you have enough damage and you pop the main and you basically use the ultimate. It's a very crazy ability, but it's also very easy to mess up. It is a little bit better now, considering that you can go ahead and basically get around it by like quick attacking into the time skip. But this guy is just a little bit of a cheat code, pretty much a one-hit kill, like his namesake being Hit. He's just very, very good, and him countering Kid Buu also means that Kid Buu is not going to really see that much playtime unless you're running them together, which is a very, very, very big possibility. But going past that, for our number 2, we got Ultra Gogeta Blue. I know this may seem like a controversial pick. I'm not sure about many people agreeing with my choice here, but for my choice specifically, I'm choosing Gogeta as my number 2, purely because of all the stuff that he does with his Vanish Gauge Restore, his ability to fill up his unique gauge, and then basically counter all types of ranged attacks with the blast cards or supers that actually hit this guy. So he is a very, very big counter, and he basically shuts down half of the playstyle of the game. It is unfortunate though that he is seeing a little bit less play now, I think because of Kid Buu. Hitch is obviously another one, but he is still one of the most prominent characters in the game. If you do not see our number 1 character here being in every match, this guy is in every single match. Or might as well just put both of them in every single match because they work on the same teams. But we all know how crazy Gogeta Blue is. My only issue with him is it just takes a little bit too much time to get to the point where he's basically untouchable at 60 time accounts. I think most of the time, I believe by maybe 40, maybe 45 time accounts, most of the characters on your team are either really close to being dead, or at least one character of yours or 2 characters of yours are basically dead. So by the time this guy actually sees himself getting up to that fully built up status, you're basically in a maybe a back foot on the back end of that, unless you're the one actually doing the damage, and then I mean you're already winning, so what's the point? So yeah, he's very, very good. We all know how crazy he is. He's just a very strong character, but it's unfortunate, but also understandable that our number one character, being Ultra Rosé, completely just dominates everything. I don't believe there is anybody who will disagree and say that Rosé is not number one. If you do say Gogeta, I mean, that's a fair argument. If you say Kid Buu, I would actually argue with you that's practically not true. And then Hit, I mean, you're just smoking something at that point. But Rosé being number one is by far the most strongest argument I can make because of all the things that he does. He goes neutral. He has paralysis. Oh my god, the paralysis on the blue card. The fact that he has green cards and just generates blue cards like it's part of his kit. Like he's just automatically just having blue cards like how the Hercule or the first form LF Frieza has. It's insane at how many times this guy picks up a blue card and how many times the paralysis just somehow manages to favor this guy. It's been so many matches that I've just gotten paralyzed and I can almost kill him, but then all of a sudden the paralysis just goes off and I'm just stuck and then I end up losing. This guy just does so much damage to everything and anything. The fact that he bleeds, the ultimates that he gets, the fact that he gets cover change, nullification, his gauge is full, he gets his vanish back. He has 3 ultimates, by the way. He goes neutral on main, so he's definitely killing most of the stuff that's in the game if he's comboing them. He's just an absolutely beast of a unit, and the fact that you can run him with another 2 of the best units in this game is incredibly OP. The fact that Rosé and Kid Buu work together is ridiculous. I mean, they're both melee characters. Kid Buu basically destroys Gogeta, which basically keeps Rosé safe to do all the things he needs to do. And then why not just throw Hit into the back pocket there for a time skip just to ensure your victory? Running these 3 powerful opponent characters together on the same team is ridiculous. I mean, I don't really care about Z ability or what you have to say, but these characters individually by themselves can hold down teams by themselves. If you run them all together, they are going to absolutely crush anything in their path. And that's not something I'm looking forward to seeing in PvP because I do not have any of these 3 characters. But yeah, let me know what you think of my tier list, guys. I mean, honorable mentions, I do have them here. I mean, Future Gohan's really good. This Vegeta's good. This Trunks is good. This other Trunks and Vegeta are good. Obviously, there are plenty of other characters here. Like Cell is pretty decent. Roshi's decent. This guy is not it. I mean, but yeah. There are honorable mentions here being these 4 or 5 characters. But I think this is a very fair estimation of what the top 10 characters look like in the game right now. Obviously, this can change with characters being higher or lower. I mean, I've seen a lot of people put these guys up here, maybe closer to like number 5 or number 6. But I just feel that their flow and the way that they work is just very bad. The fact that the Vegeta side is just so weak compared to the Super Saiyan 3 side of the Goku is just really ridiculous. I mean, they should have given the Vegeta side a little bit more to do. Maybe a counter, an AoE attack, or just like a block like he gets when he's in Transcendent mode. And the problem I have with this guy is that his LF is the Transcendent mode itself. I mean, you can't really do the LF again. His unique kit just goes away, it just becomes a normal tag unit, which is terrible. Beast Gohan does his things, this guy's good, this guy's good. I mean, you can make the argument that 17 is better, but I just believe that them being more relevant right now, especially with Rosé and how good he is, just means that they are going to basically just slightly push forward in front of 17. So yeah, definitely I feel like this tier list here is a very fair estimation. Obviously, you feel free to disagree and tell me in the comment section down below if you do agree or disagree with this tier list. But I hope you guys enjoyed my little breakdown of it. I know it did run a little bit longer than I expected, but hopefully we see some brand new units here coming in and shaking things up during the anniversary, because during the anniversary we all know there's a whole new level of power creep during that point in time, and then again at Legends Festival. Anyways guys, I hope you enjoyed today's video. Make sure to like, comment, subscribe, all the good stuff. Let me know what you think of my tier list down in the comment section down below. My name is Hydrax, and I'll catch you in the next one.